and you connect it to this particular main wire, okay, and then connect to your TV and then see what happens. Your transmission clarity, uski to band baj jayegi. All channels will be mixed together, okay. Sun TV and Moon TV will be pushing it. Two channels you can see. Sun TV, Surya TV, this TV, that TV, all such type of TV you must be seeing in South. There we see Star Plus, Star Gold, Set Max. So it is different over there. Shh, please. Listen. Hey, calm down. So don't worry, this is not permanent. Just pull that plug out, remove it, add it to this one, tight the screw, fix it, the problem will be solved. Okay? That is your coaxial cable. And next one is called as fiber optics. It's also called as optical fiber. It is also called as optic fiber. Now what is this optic fiber? Now listen very carefully. Optic fiber. In an optic fiber is actually before that, some theory. You know that fastest in this universe is light. Light is fastest. We can't say universe actually because we don't know the entire universe. Whatever we know about this universe on Earth or the surrounding solar system, light is fastest, right? If we can convert our digital signals into light signals, don't you think that we will be able to transmit data very fast? Because light is very fast, 3 lakh kilometers per second. That is an awesome speed, okay? But the problem is, we are able to do it with the help of electrodes and diodes. We are able to convert electrical energy into light energy. But the problem is, light always travels in a straight line. It is not necessary that the user will be always situated in a straight line. We might have to bend those signals, and light cannot bend, na? Have anyone seen a bending light? Directly, yeah? Not through the prism. Like you have a torch, you have seen light bending. Directly I am saying. There is a torch, you are putting up your torch and then the light comes out and it goes in this direction. No. Now what to do? Now with the help of some intermediate medium, we will be able to do deflections, not turn it, it is deflections. How that will be done? And for that, and for this particular concept, we came up with a new technology or a new type of a wire, and that is called as optic fiber. An optic fiber is basically a hollow wire or a hollow pipe. Okay? And this particular hollow pipe is covered with, or it is coated with mirror-like material from inside. This part, inner part, it is coated with mirror-like substance or mirror-like material. Why you know? Because mirror is having 100% reflective index. 100% it is. That means whatever light it is receiving, full it is giving back. And reflective index of different devices or different surfaces is different. The plate in which you are eating food, if it is a steel plate, it is also having a reflective index, but that might be around 60% or something like that. Okay, some shiny surface, sun mica, this, okay, it will be returning 10%, 12%. But if you have this mat and if you are putting light over that, it won't reflect back. Blackboard will never reflect back. Okay, so why we are using mirror-like substance? Because it is having 100% reflective index. It is coated. Now we are sending one beam of light. What will happen? It has to reflect. From here it will reflect, 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 reflect. Now you will see what time pass is happening. Reflect, 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 reflect. Array, but this is the speed of light. And what we can do is, if we can reduce the diameter of this wire to minimum, this distance or this particular transmission will be nullified. So it will be very it will go very fast. And this is nothing but a optic fiber cable. Now this is coated with again plastic like material that is called as the plastic sheath for its physical protection. And that is nothing but something called as what? It is called as optic fiber. Now you might be wondering, oh, what superb technology it is. But let me tell you, everyone in this classroom has seen an optic fiber cable. Just it is like you don't know that this is optic fiber. I'll tell you. Many a times we go and purchase gifts. While purchasing a gift, there is this kind of gift. There is a small pot-like structure, which is normally golden in color. It's a plastic, okay, but covered with golden-like substance, okay, and it emits light. If you can see, if you can switch it on, it is having electricity supply. The light is thrown outside, okay, and there is one more component added to it. It is like you call it as it's not waterfall. It's called a fountain. Water fountain. How it is? Like you will have a structure of white wires. And you keep on it, and that white wires will come in this way. And it has to be seen in night, in darkness. Okay, you switch it on, that pot is emitting light, and those wires have got a special feature. Whatever light it is accepting, the end is glowing. That is nothing but optic fiber. That is nothing but what? A optic fiber. At one end, it accepts the light signals, it is reflected within, and the end, the last point will glow, because from there the light is coming out. Okay, that is called as optic fiber. Now this particular optic fiber is been thrown away by the telecommunication department because it is not working properly. So think, if it is a very new optic fiber, just think about its performance. That is nothing but optic fiber. So these are the three different types of guided or wired communication medium. Understanding? Okay. After this, please calm down. After this, we are moving to the next one, and that is called as unguided or wireless or unbound type of media. So what is the technology that is being used for this one? Number one is called as terrestrial microwave. Terrestrial microwave means microwave signals send along the surface of Earth. That is called as terrestrial microwave. What is this and how it works? Listen very carefully. Again, we're having a building. And there is Miss J. Okay? Now this time, Miss J is having a cell phone. Okay? And obviously, I cannot just take one name. This is only one part. The other part, better part. On a mountain, Mr. X is annoyed and he is on a mountain. Okay? Shh, please. Obviously, he is also having a cell phone. This is a smartphone. This is a normal phone. Achha, listen. Miss J is calling Mr. X. She dials. Okay? And she'll ask, what happened? Why are you alone? Why are you annoyed? This, that, and all such things. Let's not go into the details of this. Ram Prakash, let's not go into it. You know it better. Have anyone thought how a very small device is able to connect one more small device which is very far away? How this technology works? it works on the principles of microwave. When Miss J is calling someone, she is not calling that person actually. That cell phone is calling the base station. It is calling the base station. Base station is nothing but a tower. Suppose she is having an Airtel connection. So the nearest Airtel tower is called as the base station. So she is basically calling. So on a building there is a tower. Okay, she is calling that particular tower, right? So signals go in this way. Now that base station will locate such a station which is nearest to the recipient caller, to the recipient's cell phone. So that might be on this here also there is a tower. Okay, so this particular connection has been established, and when this connection is located, his phone will start ringing. Now when he is receiving the call, these two stations, now this particular communication is also established. Huh? Now these two stations will set a chain of towers between them. If the distance between these two towers is more than 50 kilometers, that is 30 miles. If the distance between these two towers is more than how much? 30 miles, 50 kilometers, then they would set a chain of towers. One building, one tower. So one building over here, one tower, one more building, and a tower. Now the towers would be chosen in such a way that the distance between the two towers is not more than 50 kilometers. Why? Because microwave can travel a distance of 50 kilometers. And after 50 kilometers or up to 50 kilometers, the signals start getting weak. And then attenuation. You know it very well now. So it is accepted, amplified, transmitted. 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 But all these things are happening so fast, it's really very fast. Otherwise what will happen, you know? Janani will say, hello. And that her boyfriend. Hello, hi, how are you doing? Meantime, Janani. It will look so absurd. Understanding? It is very fast. As soon as she says hello, it is heard over there. Same hello. And whatever he is replying is been heard over here. Same hi, how are you, whatever. Understanding? So this is nothing but your terrestrial microwave. This is how the technology is working. And this is the technology of cell phones. Understanding or not? And when you are moving, see, now these two are situated at one particular place. When you are moving and talking, this particular towers switch over. His role will be over. Next tower will take. Next tower will play a role. That's why you will note that whenever you are communicating and traveling, there is a small sort of that signal is breaking. For a fraction of a second, we won't be able to hear. It is because of that tower switch over. And that is nothing but something called as microwave communication. Terrestrial microwave means of transmitting the data. Understanding? Are you yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, I'll give you a break. Just hold more for 10 minutes. 9:30, I will give you a break. Don't worry. It has to be like 3 hours before the break. And the second part should be lighter. So 3.5 hours. So I will give you a break at 10 o'clock. Okay, we'll take 2 breaks. Okay? Come here. Half an hour, 15 minutes. Okay? Acha, listen. Shh. Please calm down. Now I'm talking about, hello. We are now moving to the next one that is called as radio waves. Hold on for 10 more minutes. 9:30 I'm giving a break. We are now starting with something called as radio waves. Now what exactly are these radio waves. Signals transmitted by radio stations are nothing but radio waves. And I need not explain, these particular radio waves have got the capacity of traveling a very long distance. Very long distance they can travel, 150, 200 kilometers they can travel. Okay, so if we are using these particular radio signals for transmitting the data, that is nothing but something called as radio waves. If you are transmitting beyond the capacity, then the problem of attenuation would occur. Now in radio signals, again you have the type of radio signal. Low range, high range, mid range. The FM that you are hearing is actually a low range. It covers only one particular city. So it's a low range. Whereas when you want to transmit it for a longer distance, we might use a long range what? Radio waves. There are also some very short range, that Bluetooth and all these things, they are also using what? This particular radio waves. But they are so weak that they can travel only a very small, very less distance. You must have played with that remote control cars. They are also transmitting the data via radio waves. Okay, but that distance has to be not more than say 2-3 meters, or maybe a bit longer than that. That's the range. So it depends upon the signal capacity, the power of the radio signals. That is called as your radio waves. Then the next one is called as infrared waves. Next is called as infrared waves. And infrared waves is again a variation of this radio waves. And they can travel only very small distance. Very small distance. With the help of infrared technology, we are able to develop such type of gadgets where we will be able to see at night. Night vision goggles. Okay, they're actually using infrared waves. You know, bat, cricket bat illa, that bird bat, it can see at night. Actually speaking, it cannot see. Yes, that particular bat is generating infrared waves in all the directions. And when that infrared waves, if there is an obstacle, okay, it is banging with that obstacle and it comes back. So when that bat gets back the signal, then it understands there is an obstacle over here and then it changes its path. And just imagine how fast this will be happening. That is nothing but something called as a infrared waves. And the last one before the break is communication satellite. Now let's try to understand what exactly is this communication satellite. Now listen. Hello, last topic. Communication satellite. Listen very carefully. Maybe this is the surface of that section, boys. Concentrate. Maybe this is the surface of the earth. And you have a base station. That big dish antenna, it's over here. And you have the receiving point, maybe over here. Okay. How will you be able to transmit this data? The shortest distance is this. But you can't dig the earth, na? And send the signal through that. It is highly impossible. The next shortest channel is this. But this is also not possible because the surface of the earth is not plain like the Ran of Kutch. It's not plain. There will be mountains in between. There will be big trees, big buildings in between. Or there might be not anything. It's plain sea. So you will feel, sir, plain sea na? Superb, full speed. Illa. In sea there is a big problem. There are high currents in seas and they will just throw that signals anywhere. So what to do? Here comes into picture something called as satellite communication. Above the earth, we are having satellite situated? We are having satellite situated. I wrote NASA because I could not fit INSAT over here, so I wrote NASA. Now, this particular satellite is revolving in geosynchronous orbits. Now, there is something technical word used. What is this geosynchronous orbit? Let me tell you. Earth rotates on its own axis, right? But the problem is, the axis is not in this way. It is a bit tilted. So the path of rotation is a bit different. It's not rotating in this way. It is in this way. And geosynchronous, geo means earth, and synchronous means synchronizing with the movement of earth. So if you are sending a satellite above one point, that particular satellite will move in the same direction as this earth is rotating. That's why it is called as geosynchronous, synchronizing with the movement of the earth. And this distance from earth to that satellite point is 36,000 kilometers. And it has to be more distance now. Otherwise, if the distance is less, that satellite would come in the gravitational force and that satellite will fall down. So it has to go beyond the gravitational force of Earth. Okay. Now, whenever you want to transmit data from here to here, okay, the data is transmitted via this particular antenna or base station. Now, this particular data will be transmitted in open atmosphere, okay, at a capacity of 6 gigahertz, at a frequency of 6 gigahertz. Now this particular signals have to travel a long distance of 36,000 kilometers. Okay, so on this particular uplink transponder, it will be accepted. And why? And when we are traveling, when the signal is traveling a distance of 36,000 kilometers, the signals tend to fall weak. So this satellite will be amplifying it. And with a downlink frequency of 4 gigahertz, the signals are shot back to Earth. And these particular base stations will be accepting the signals, and that's how the signals are transmitted from here to here. Now just imagine you are transmitting the data 36,000 kilometers and coming back. Okay, so the time would be more. Edward, you have a cell phone in your hand? No? Yes or no? If you are having it, please keep it. If you are not having it, then please concentrate on what I am teaching. That book is always with you. You can read it anytime. Does it make any sense that I am teaching and you are reading something else? Or even if you are reading the same thing, there is some other time for it. Okay. Now, where exactly this technology is being used? You watch a live match, it is with this technology. Let me tell you, even though that match is live, it's not live. There is a small time gap in between. There is a time. No, it's not in seconds. It is in minutes. It is in minutes. I have personally experienced this. For India, England, it was 2020 match. It was an international 2020 match at Wankhede Stadium. Wankhede Stadium is very near to my house. As Chepauk is very near to you. Okay, in the same way, Wankhede is very near to my house. So we had gone for that match. And we were sitting in that stadium and we were watching the match. But let me tell you, personally speaking, I don't like watching match at the stadium. Only loud noise, that's it. No commentary, no replays. Okay, nothing like that. At our house, we can relax nicely, have popcorn, and then watch it. Now, so beside where we are sitting, there was a VIP cabin, and there a TV was installed over there. So when a wicket used to fall, okay, we used to scream and this, and then I just had a look, but that batsman was still batting in the TV. Then I realized, even though that Star Sports something it is showing you live, it's not live. Some time has to pass. Then while learning this myself, I understood why that difference might have been occurring. It is because of this particular distance. This is a two-way distance, 36 plus 36. 72,000 kilometers the data signal has to travel. It will take some time, na? And that difference is because of this particular time. And that is nothing but something called as what? Satellite communication. Now wait. We are now moving to the next topic. It's called as telecommunication networks. Hello. We are trying to understand what are the different types of telecommunication network. This is the first type of telecommunication network, that is telecommunication network based on area. There are again different types under different heads. We are considering the first head, and that is what are the different types of networks based on area. The idea is very simple over here. This type of a network is been classified based on area, means how much area it is covering under that network is called as what? On the basis of area. The first one in this is called as LAN, and LAN stands for Local Area Network. As the name is indicating, it is confined only to a local area. I would say an area of about 1 square kilometer can be covered inside a local area network. In a local area network, there could be around 100 computers connected with each other, obviously with the help of a server, with the help of one powerful computer that is called as a server. And the connections which has been done, many a times or maximum times it is done with the help of wires only, that we have already studied in guided network. So being local area, it is only a small area, and because it is only a small area, we will be able to connect the computers each other with the help of wires. Now this particular local area network is normally spread in one campus or one premises. Say a college where there are n number of computer labs. All these computer labs computers are connected with each other, and that is confined only to a small, not small, but a campus or a premises. LAN is owned by one organization only. One organization can have multiple LANs, but one LAN cannot have multiple owners or multiple organizations. It seems so absurd, no? That is nothing but something called as LAN. So what will you remember in LAN? LAN stands for Local Area Network. It covers about, about 1 square kilometer. About 100 computers can be connected to the server. It is connected with the help of wires. It covers about one campus, or it covers a campus or a premises. And it is owned by one organization. And if you talk about the speed, what is the speed of the data transmission in local area network? It is about 10 Mbps. This speed you will get. Obviously, it completely depends upon the number of computers that you are connecting, and it also depends on the power, okay, of the server. That is called as a local area network. Now let's try to understand what are the features of local area network. So once you have understood this introduction part, understanding these features becomes very simple. First and the foremost feature is called as the media. Media refers to what is the communication medium through which the data is being transferred. As such, you can use any media that you like. But most probably that is used is a wired connection. and we will be using a coaxial cable in a LAN. Connecting LAN with the help of twisted pair cables is also possible, but it has certain disadvantages. So the best thing is a coaxial cable. Many a times LAN can be connected with the help of wireless technology also. With low range radio waves, you will be able to connect LAN components with each other, and the same thing is called as WLAN, that is wireless LAN. So when we talk about the media, almost any type of media can be used, but you have to think which is the best. You have to analyze in what circumstances you are working, how many number of computers are connected with each other, what is the physical distance between those components. Taking into consideration all these things, you will be finalizing what is the media. Then network interface card is the most important thing, because any computer that wants to get connected to the network, it wants to become a part of the network, it needs to have an IC. Server is coming, server has to be connected to the network. So for that there will be a wire, but that wire need to have that port, and that port is NIC, that card is NIC. If it is a server also, if it is a node also, still it needs to have that wire well connected to itself, and it will be connected with the help of a port which is available with the NIC. To NIC, that is a network interface card, or it is also called as LAN card. I told you now, it is called as LAN card. It is because of this, because it is a part of LAN. Then you require one server, because if you are having n number of nodes, there has to be someone who will be controlling these nodes. Nodes are there for accepting the data, for sending the request and showing the output. There has to be someone who will be processing all this data. There has to be someone who will be holding all the data, storage, and that is been done by the server. I have said just now in this lecture only that server is that particular computer which is bigger in size, higher in memory, more in storage. All the processing is centralized in the server, and all the data storage is concentrated on the server. That's the feature of a LAN. And last but not the least is called as a work group. Work group refers to those employees who are working in coordination with each other for an organization. If they are working in coordination with each other, that means the computers with which they are working has to be interconnected with each other. And obviously that is nothing but the nodes that I am talking about. So these nodes will be taking the commands from this work group. The commands will be accepted, it will be sent to the server. Server will accept these commands at random, it will process the data, and it will show the output on this particular node. This is how a set of people or set of individuals will be able to work with the same network, with the same server, having coordination with each other. Now it is not necessary that every time we should touch the server. I am a person from marketing department. I may require finance. So I am directly requiring some data from the finance department. So my work is to communicate with the computer in finance department. I can do that. So work group can interact with each other. Many a times this interaction always has to happen through the server. That is called as the features of local area network. Then what are the advantages? Number one, security. While teaching you the introduction part, I told you how security can be maintained at a multiple tier system, 2-tier system in LAN. Here also same thing is happening. A client or a node may have its own security. With the help of a possible password, it can have its own security. But when that particular node wants to get connected to the network, it needs to have some network ID and obviously a password for it. Okay, so here you can have a additional security. The security at the node level and the security that has been provided by the server. That is called as security. Then we can have a expanded PC usage through inexpensive workstation. If you remember my lines, if you remember my explanation, I said server is a bigger machine. Okay? It is having bigger storage capacity. its processor is faster and powerful, and its memory is higher. And because we have such a powerful computer, the storage, the processing is centralized. It is centrally located on the server. In other words, the work of the client becomes very simple. What a client has to do? Is it required to do any processing? No. Is it required to store some data? No. Then don't you think a normal, a very simple basic processor will work over there? If it is not storing any type of data, then a basic hard disk is also possible. Even if you don't have a hard disk, still you will be able to connect to the server. Still that particular machine will be working. So don't you think if you reduce all these expenses, like buying a basic processor, not having a hard disk, buying very less memory, don't you think that this particular workstation or node will be very much inexpensive, cheap I can say, less costly I can say. And you can go on adding this. The scalability of the network will increase when you are including such PCs or such microcomputers on the server. So you can have a very easy expansion. See, you have to incur cost, no doubt about it. But that is only once for installing the server. Server is a very costly machine. But after that, once everything is set, now you want to expand the network. You are just supposed to add some inexpensive hardware for the PC. Then, advantages is you can share the email. Okay, for emailing, all your emails will be stored onto the server. Okay, and then it can be accessed by any node that you like. And you can also take the advantage of message broadcasting. What is it? Suppose I need to make some organizational announcement that Mr. Raj is appointed as the zonal head of South Mumbai, of South India. So this is an organizational announcement. So what I'll be doing is, I will use the message broadcasting facility of a network. That means once I type this on the server, on every node, this message will be flashed. So everyone will come to know that Mr. Raj is now being promoted as the zonal head. So when they finish their work, they all can come together and demand a party with Mr. Raj. Right or wrong? Suppose there is some emergency. I can immediately communicate with everyone. Nah? See, if I keep on calling everyone, it will take a lot of time. If I mail everyone, then when they will check their mail, that point of time they will know okay, this was the particular event happening. But this particular message broadcasting, okay, is like I'm seeing this particular screen. A message will be flashed on that screen. So immediately I look, what is this? And then immediately I'll be updated regarding any announcement, any important event that is taking place inside an organization, and that becomes an advantage. Moving to the next one is called as organizational benefits. Organizational benefits means everyone gets a computer, their work becomes faster, and even though everyone is having computer, we are not dependent upon their computer. Ultimately, whatever data they are processing has to reside on the server only. Na? So if tomorrow Satya is not present, my work cannot stop. Some another person will take over Satya's work because his work will be ultimately saved in the server. So Raj will take over and Raj will do that work. Okay? So because Satya is absent, my work cannot stop. No one is indispensable. Okay, so that is nothing but emailing and organizational benefits. Next one is called as data management benefits. Now exclusively I am concerned about the data. I know that you are all interested people. Okay, you are all trusted people for years together. But I cannot give this data to you. Understanding what I'm saying? Even though you're all my trusted employees, my organizational data I cannot give to you. You will get it when you're working with it. But you cannot save this data on your computer. Or your computer means your organizational computer only. Then it becomes your personal property. Na? Any point of time you can access it. I won't allow that. I won't allow that. Complete control over the data will be centralized. And those people who require data to work with the data, only those authorized users will be given only that much amount of data. If Raj is of marketing department, he will be having access only to the data of marketing department. Why do you need data for finance? It's not required by you. It won't be allowed. That is called as data management benefits. Suppose if there was no server, then this data would reside on others' computer. Anyone could access it. So here it is stored centrally in the server. Next advantage is, now this is very general. I told you, you need not store your data on other PCs, that is on the nodes. So we are saving on money over here. Na? We are having the advantage of data management. No matter what data it is of the organization, it is stored centrally on the server. So when I know that entire data is available here and here itself, I can know the quantum of data. Okay, I can analyze my data. I am quite confident that apart from this data available, no other data is available on any other computer. So it need not keep me guessing. Can we have some more data? No, it is this only. Whatever you have, it is here before you. That is called as data management benefits. Now, after this data management benefits, we also have the advantage of software cost. And I have told you this. Software, I need not install on each and every node. I have to just install a network edition of the software on the server. So ultimately, the cost which is involved in software installation would be less. See, if you do the direct comparison, like software for a node and software for a server, the software for a server would be definitely expensive than the cost of the node. But when n number of nodes are sharing the same thing, so the average cost goes down. Na? That's why we are having the advantage of software cost. And also upgradation becomes very simple. Suppose I am having 1000 nodes, and if I install this software on 1000 nodes, should I go on upgrading 1000 nodes? It will take a lot of time. Instead of that, the software which is centrally situated, centrally located, will be upgraded only once. And next time when you access it, you will be directly having a upgraded software. And that is nothing but something called as LAN, local area network. We learned what is LAN, we learned the features of LAN, and we also learned the advantages of LAN. So before I turn the page and go to the next page, Finished? Hello? Shh. We are continuing. Silence. Please don't write now. We are now moving to the next part. We are still on different types of network based on area. And the next one we are learning is called as MAN. It stands for Metropolitan Area Network. It stands for Metropolitan Area Network. Asha, now listen what exactly it is. Metropolitan Area Network is a type of network which is bigger than LAN. It is bigger than LAN. Now, bigger means what? Is the scope bigger? Please. Bigger means what? Is the scope larger? What exactly it is? So let's try to understand the meaning of this term bigger. What exactly is this bigger? I'll give you one example. Shh, please. Satya, tell me the name of the area where you reside. Tiru something something he said. So there Mr. Satya is staying. Now you must be having a cable connection for your TV. Yes. Obviously. Now today we like to see more channels. So he is having a cable TV, cable connection. Now if you are having a cable connection, there might be some person who must have provided with this cable connection. Okay. And that particular person has also given cable connection to your neighbors. Normally it is like one particular area, small area, building, 2-3 buildings, they get connection from the same operator. So can I say that his cable operator or that cable owner is the server? And the signals are sent from him through wires to different houses. One of the house belongs to Satya and they become the node. So don't you think that is called as a local area network? Yes? Raj, where you reside? Nungambakam. Here only means, this area only. He resides in Nungambakam. So you must be also having some cable connection. Okay? I know there are many people who are having direct to home, DTH, Airtel, then Tata Sky, whatever. But cable connection, it was there first. So there must be some cable operator, cable owner who must have given you this connection. Along with you, there are some other clients, your neighbors who have taken cable connection from them. Right or wrong? So can I call that as a LAN? Can I call it as LAN? That cable owner, server, sending the signals, and all these television sets, client, receiving the signals, right? Okay. Nandakumar, where do you stay? Okay. Same is the story with you, cable owner. cable connection, cable owner, server. And your TV is you, client, that would be a LAN, right? And Ram Prakash, where? So he might be staying in that, he is staying in that place, and same story is there for you. One LAN, next LAN, next LAN, next LAN. But night at around 9 o'clock or 9:30, a movie is played. Right? A movie is played. So no matter in which area you are living, in everyone's TV, the same movie will be seen. That means there is someone who is above all these cable operators. I don't know the case in Chennai. I'm not very familiar about it. But in Mumbai, there are various cable operators, the bigger one, cable operators like in Mumbai, then Den Network and Fab World. These are the different cable operators. From there, the cable connection is coming. So this particular operator will be playing a movie. The signals will be coming to these cable operators, and from them, all these movie signals are coming to individual houses. Are you getting this scenario? And with the help of this, an entire city or entire area is being covered. So actually speaking, this is LAN, server, node. LAN, 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 all come together and form MAN. So can we say MAN is LAN of LANs? Yes. So now you have understood what is a metropolitan area network. We can also say that it is a network of networks. Rather than saying network of networks, now this network of networks is, this particular phrase is used for internet. Let's not confuse with that. We will say it is LAN of LANs. And in this particular case, it is compulsory to use a coaxial cable. Cable TV, that's nothing but they are transmitting the data signals, they are transmitting the television signals with the help of coaxial cable. That's called as MAN, Metropolitan Area Network. The next type of network that we are supposed to discuss is called as WAN, W-A-N, which is bigger than MAN. So, please. So it is said that MAN is a mid-sized network. It is a middle network and it is between LAN and WAN. Understanding what is MAN? Okay, we are now moving to the last type of network based on area, and that is called as WAN. That is wide area network. The greatest advantage of using a wide area network is it doesn't know any geographical boundaries. There are no boundaries which can control WAN. That's why we say WAN covers a very, very large geographical area. Even many countries are covered inside a wide area network. And how this is possible? This is possible with the help of long distance telephone line services. Okay, telephone lines networks is all over the world. So instead of having or setting one more network, what we can do is we can use the existing network. And with the help of this existing network, we are able to send our data almost anywhere in the world. So this particular wide area network is taking the advantage of existing telephone service lines which run a very long distance. Then one more option available with WAN is satellite transmission. That is transmission of the data through some satellite. And just now, before the break, we did see how this particular satellite telecommunication network works, satellite communication. And so the WAN has that capabilities of using satellite transmission. And last but not the least, it can also use optic fiber for transmission of the data. Optic fiber I have just now taught you. Now what happens is optic fiber, it's a very thin wire, but there are many such optic fibers brought together, and this big fat wire is created. And this particular fat wire, which is very heavy, I told you na, mirror-like substance. Mirror is very heavy. It is having mercury. Okay, it is very heavy, and it is just left inside the ocean, and then it sinks down and it lays on the seabed. And that's how we are able to transmit the data under sea, obviously with the help of optic fiber. The WAN also has the technology to use the capabilities of this undersea cable. So all in all, I'll say that WAN is a very, very big, wide area network covering the entire world. But it is very simple to understand. It is common sense that if the distance is very long, the speed has to be slow. So WAN would give you a speed of around 1 Mbps. 1 Mbps. Your internet itself is nothing but a wide area network. Okay. What download speed you get? 1 Mbps. Okay. Now because of new technology, you get 2 Mbps, 3 Mbps. Okay. But if you talk about a normal technology, in simple terms, that internet connection which is of 500 rupees per month, there you will be getting. Then also there is one option. If you are having limited download for 500 rupees, you might get a better speed. But I am talking about a very general common connection. There you will get a speed of around 1 Mbps. Okay. So that is called as your wide area network. So before you note down all these things, okay, you can note this down because a new topic is starting. Finished? Okay. We have finished off. We have finished off with different types of telecommunication network based on area. We have finished. Now we are starting with the next question. Different types of networks based on functional classification. You can see over here. It's called as functional classification. Shall I start? Please be calm. Please be quiet. Okay, we're now beginning with the functional classification of a telecommunication network, and the first type is called as client server networking. This is a type of network which follows certain architecture, or it follows a specific type of functioning. So we call it as functional classification. Okay, so let's try to understand a client-server networking. Actually speaking, I need not explain all these things. You know it. Client-server, the diagram I had drawn, it is on the same way. But let's try to understand some technical details. First and the foremost thing, there are required two types of components or two types of computers. One is called as client. Client is the interface between user and server, accepting data from the, giving it to the, taking output from the, giving it to the, okay. And then there is one server. Server will be doing all the data processing. All the data will be stored on the server. Server is a bigger, all these things. Now, this is the general perception about client server. But when you go deep into client server networking, it has got many variants. So now let's try to understand what are the different types of client used in a client server networking. The first one in this is called as fat client. It is very simple to understand that a person who keeps on eating, who keeps on eating, who keeps on eating grows fat, obese. Am I right or wrong? In the same way, a particular client, if it is doing more of processing, then that particular client will be called as fat client, also called as thick client. Many a times the server is entrusting the client with data processing. Server is so busy that it is allowing the node to do the processing. So many a times this node will be doing the bulk of the processing, okay, and server will be just storing the data, or it will be just serving the request. You want any file? I will give it, no problem. But processing I won't do. Like if you want to find total and average, I will give you the name of the student and I will give you the marks of the student, but I won't do total and I won't do the averaging. That you have to do. In such circumstances, what happens is, the client has to do bulk of processing. Then what the server will do? Or it will store the data and it will give the appropriate data to the appropriate user. That is one type of client server networking where you have a fat client or a thick client. Next one is called as thin client. A person who doesn't eat normally goes thin. In the same way, if a client is not processing anything, then it is called as a thin client. Or if the client is not processing, then who is processing? It's quite obvious. Server is processing. Then who will be doing the storage? Or server will be only doing the storage. Then why this is used? It is just acting as a interface. Web applications you see. Web application, what exactly happens in a web application? The page appears before you. The web page appears before you, and that particular client will be accepting the data from you, and it will be sending the data to the server for processing. So this particular client just acts as an interface. It is just left with the input-output duties. That's it. No processing will be done, and there is no question of storage on a client, and that will be called as a thin client. Then you have a hybrid client. You have what? Hybrid client. A hybrid client is a combination of fat and thin client. Means what? Means the main processing will be done on the client, and the storage will be done on the host. Host means the server. So it is actually a combination of fat and it is fat and thin client, thick and thin client. When this is used, normally this is used in gaming software. In a gaming software, the user is very active. I will not say active, he's hyperactive. And constantly inputs are being given and the data is required to be processed. Okay, if so much input is coming, so much instructions are coming, then server might not be able to handle it. So here the processing is decentralized. One user, one client, they will look after their processing. So this is happening decentralized, and that is called as your hybrid client. Are you understanding? Then I've already discussed about the server. Now let's try to understand the features of client-server networking. Number one, service. Service is nothing but that particular, I would say, activity which is done by the client. It is the duty of the client to provide what? Service to the client, or it is the service of a client to provide service to the user. It is also called as the provider. Then we have shared resources. We have already seen this concept of shared resources. All the data, all the hardware, all the software will be stored onto the server, and the server will be sharing all those resources. Then transparency of location. Server has got record, it has got the data about where exactly a node is situated. So if a client or if a person wants to find a specific node, it can approach the server, and server will give the exact location of that particular node. This is called as transparency of location. Finding a node is not difficult in this particular type of client-server networking. Then we have scalability. Scalability refers to the activity where you are adding your nodes and removing your nodes. In a client-server technology, it is very simple to add a node and to remove a node. If you want to add a node, just you have to take a wire, add to the hub, and add that address of that node to the server. Node is added. And if you want to remove it, simple, pull the wire, node is removed. So the scalability factor. Scalability means measuring, or it is the size of the network. If it is growing, that is scalability. If it is falling down, again the nodes are being removed. It is simple to add and to remove a node. And last is integrity. Integrity is nothing but bringing the data together. Fusion, we say. It should be integrated. We had discussed about this term when we were learning database. Data integrity. Okay, data from different tables stay together. In the same way, in a client-server networking, when all the data resides onto the server, data integrity is maintained. Data is coming from different computers of different department, but this data is integrated and finally it is stored inside the server. That is called as data integrity. Now, what is the limitation of this client-server networking? The first and the foremost limitation is heavy dependency on the server. Okay, heavy dependency on the server. If something goes wrong with the server, finish, that is the end of story. Even though you are having a fat client, still it won't be able to work because it will not get the data which is required to be processed. So there is a very, very, very heavy dependency on the server. And the working of a client-server networking, I need not discuss with you. All the clients are connected to the server. The client will be accepting the request from the user. It will be accepting and sending it to the server. Server will be doing all the processing, and the output is not given to the user directly, but it is given to that particular node, and then the node will be showing you the output. This is how a client-server network model works. Okay, so that was nothing but client-server networking. Understanding?